Polly and Belzer decide to go camping and celebrate their wedding anniversary. While on the road, they notice a woman asking for help on the roadside. Polly stops the car, but just as she is about to get out, a man appears with a gun, asking for a ride. The woman's name is Lacey, and the man is Dennis. They have committed a crime and are fleeing from the police. After driving for a short distance, the car suddenly runs over something and gets a flat tire. Polly and Dennis begin changing the tire, while Belzer and Lacey walk back to see what the car hit and discover a strange creature covered in sharp spikes, which is still alive but barely moving. While Dennis checks the damaged tire, one of the creature's thorns pierces his hand. He pulls it out without realizing it is not a normal thorn. Once everyone gets back into the car and continues driving, smoke starts coming from the vehicle. They soon spot a gas station ahead, but it looks completely abandoned. Lacey goes into the restroom, and when she opens the door, a man covered in spikes falls out. She quickly informs Dennis, but he dismisses her fears. Suddenly, the man attacks Lacey. Belzer is frozen in fear, but the creature ignores him and heads straight for the car, allowing him to escape inside. Polly sees Lacey's body lying on the floor and wants to call the police, but Dennis stops her, afraid that the police will arrest him because he is already wanted. When Polly refuses to back down, Dennis hits her and knocks her to the ground. He then cuts the phone line so no one can call for help. After a long, tense silence, Dennis checks the security cameras and sees that Lacey's body is moving. She is still alive, but the creature is still attached to their car, covered in sharp thorns. Dennis decides he cannot let Lacey die, so they make a plan to send him outside to rescue her. But as Dennis steps out, Polly realizes she can no longer trust him and locks the door from the inside. Dennis manages to drag Lacey back toward the store, but when he sees the door locked, he loses control and pulls out his gun. At the last second, Belzer opens the door and lets him in. Belzer then notices a severed hand twitching on the floor. He examines it and sees that it is covered in metal thorns and seems to be growing by feeding on flesh. Suddenly, they hear another loud noise. Lacey is now completely controlled by the creature and starts smashing her head against the window. Everyone panics and tries to escape through a back door, but it is blocked with iron chains. Before they can think of another way out, they hear noises from above. They quickly shut the door, but just then, a police officer arrives at the front door. Polly tries to explain the situation, but the officer thinks they are all part of the same gang. As she is about to call for backup, some blood drips on her and a dark shadow jumps onto her, turning her into another victim. Then Dennis comes up with a risky idea. He suggests setting the nearby forest afire so the fire department will come. Then he goes outside and begins pouring gasoline around. Meanwhile, Belzer hears a voice outside and looks through the door. He notices that a police walkie-talkie has fallen onto the ground. Belzer grabs some wire hangers and connect them to make a long hooked tool. He tries to pull the walkie-talkie closer, but the wire is not long enough. Dennis notices the problem and comes to help, but his injured finger now looks infected. When Polly asks him about it, Dennis hides the truth and says nothing. Soon after, Belzer finally reaches the walkie-talkie using a longer wire, but the moment he touches it, the monster suddenly leaps toward them. Belzer drops the wire and the walkie-talkie breaks on the ground. The monster then begins forcing its way through the small opening. Polly bravely steps forward and pushes against the monster's body, managing to hold it back for a moment. However, one of its arms stretches inside and reaches toward Belzer and Dennis. At that moment, Dennis comes out of the freezer and says there is a storage room in the back where they can hide for a short time. Belzer quickly sends Polly there and stays behind to slow the monster down. Once Polly is safe, Belzer shoves the monster away and jumps into the freezer. The monster slams into the glass again and again, terrifying them, but suddenly it stops and collapses to the floor. Just as they begin to feel relieved, Dennis screams in pain as his arms twist unnaturally and sharp thorns burst from his hand. Even though he is in terrible pain, Dennis insists that his arm must be cut off before he fully turns into a monster. Belzer reacts quickly and grabs a knife to cut off Dennis's arm, but the bone is too hard and the knife cannot cut through it. Looking around, Belzer spots a crowbar nearby and tells Polly to hold Dennis's arm steady. A short while later, Dennis wakes up and realizes Belzer has saved his life. Belzer then remembers that when they first arrived at the gas station, the monster ignored him and attacked the hot car instead. Even inside the freezer, the creature stopped attacking them. This makes Belzer understand that the monster senses heat and body temperature. If they lower their body temperature below room temperature, the monster won't be able to detect them. The plan is extremely dangerous, but they have no other choice. Belzer covers himself with ice to cool down and slowly moves toward the door. Polly throws fireworks outside to distract the monster, and the loud explosions catch its attention. Taking advantage of the distraction, Belzer crawls carefully toward the police jeep. His movements are slow because the cold has made his body numb. He tries to use the walkie-talkie inside the vehicle, but it is turned off and he doesn't have the key. As Belzer's body begins to warm up, the monster senses him and charges toward the jeep. At that moment, Dennis appears at the store entrance holding fireworks and throws them to distract the monster again. But as Dennis tries to get back inside, the creature attacks and knocks him down. With Lacey's help, Dennis manages to crawl back into the cold storage room. Meanwhile, the fireworks Dennis dropped earlier ignite the spilled gasoline on the floor, and flames begin spreading through the store. Belzer quickly grabs a shotgun from the police car and runs straight toward the fire without hesitation. When he shoots the monster, the bullets have no effect. Suddenly, Belzer remembers the spiked hand lying on the floor. He kicks it into the fire and it instantly stops moving, proving that the creature is afraid of flames. Everyone tries to force the monster into the burning area, but the creature is smart and refuses to move. Dennis then takes Belzer's gun and tells Belzer to escape, saying he will hold the monster back. Belzer and Polly run outside, but the monster attacks Dennis and badly injures his shoulder. Even so, Dennis refuses to give up. He reloads his weapon, waits for the monster to come closer, and fires, knocking it into the fire. Belzer and Polly rush back inside to save him, but they realize Dennis has been infected again. Smiling calmly, Dennis pulls himself away and fires his final bullet into the fuel tank. A massive explosion follows, destroying the gas station and burning both Dennis and the monster to ashes. Belzer and Polly barely escape alive. However, nearby in the forest, a wild animal is suddenly attacked by something unseen, and sharp spikes begin growing from its body, showing that the danger has not ended.